I spent 3 years staring at the same four walls, convinced I was living, when I was really just existing. If you've ever felt like you're going through the motions, watching life happen to everyone else while you're stuck on the sidelines, this story might just change how you see everything, because sometimes the most profound lessons come from the moments we almost let slip away. Picture this: 26 years old, decent job, comfortable routine, same coffee shop every morning, same route to work, same Netflix shows every night. I had convinced myself this was success, this was adulting, this was how life was supposed to feel. Safe, predictable, numbingly comfortable. But deep down, something was eating away at me. This quiet voice that whispered during those 3 a.m. moments when sleep would come. Is this really it? The wake-up call came from the most unexpected place. My 70-year-old neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who I'd barely spoken to in 2 years of living next door. One Tuesday morning, I found her crying on her porch, clutching a faded photograph. When I asked what was wrong, she looked at me with these incredibly wise eyes and said something that shattered my comfortable little world. I spent so many years waiting for the right moment to live that I forgot to actually live. That conversation planted a seed that grew into my first major realization. We've been taught to measure life by the wrong metrics. We count years, we count paychecks, we count likes and followers. But we rarely count moments that take our breath away. Mrs. Chen showed me her photograph collection. Not of expensive vacations or fancy restaurants, but of simple moments that mattered. Her grandson's laugh during a pillow fight, the sunrise she watched after her husband's surgery when she knew he'd be okay, the day she finally learned to drive at 62, because she refused to depend on others for her freedom. Quality living isn't about having more, it's about experiencing deeper. It's choosing the conversation over the television show, the walk in nature over the scroll through social media, the home-cooked meal shared with someone you care about over the convenient but lonely takeout. When you start measuring your days by how fully you felt them rather than how quickly they passed, everything changes. You begin to notice the weight of sunlight streaming through your window, the genuine smile from a stranger, the satisfaction of learning something new just because it fascinated you. Mrs. Chen's story ignited something in me that had been dormant for years: curiosity. Within a month, I did something that terrified me. I quit my comfortable job and bought a one-way ticket to a country I'd never been to, armed with nothing but a backpack and a promise to myself to say yes to opportunities that scared me. In Thailand, I found myself teaching English to children who had so little materially but radiated more joy than I'd felt in years. In Nepal, I helped build a school with my bare hands alongside people who didn't speak my language but communicated through laughter and shared purpose. Each new experience taught me that our comfort zones aren't protecting us, they're imprisoning us. Taking chances doesn't always mean dramatic life changes. Sometimes it's as simple as taking the art class you've been thinking about for 3 years, striking up a conversation with someone who interests you, or choosing the hiking trail instead of the familiar sidewalk. Every small act of courage builds your capacity for bigger leaps. Fear stops being this insurmountable wall and becomes more like weather, something you acknowledge but don't let dictate your plans. The most beautiful discoveries happen when we venture beyond our carefully constructed boundaries. I learned to rock climb from a 70-year-old grandmother in Colorado, discovered my love for photography while getting lost in back alleys of Istanbul, and found my life partner in a cooking class I almost skipped because I was convinced I was terrible at cooking. But perhaps the most transformative lesson came when I realized that the moments I felt most alive weren't when I was receiving experiences, but when I was giving them to others. In a small village in Guatemala, I spent weeks helping families build clean water systems. I went there thinking I was the helper, the one with something to offer. But I left understanding that service isn't about charity, it's about connection. Those families taught me that generosity is unmeasured by the size of your bank account, but by the size of your willingness to show up for others. Maria, a mother of 4 who had never left her village, spent hours teaching me traditional weaving techniques, sharing stories of her ancestors, and insisting I stay for dinner every night despite having so little. Her generosity came from abundance of spirit, not material wealth. When you help others, you don't lose something of yourself, you discover something about yourself. Every person I've helped move apartments, every time I've listened to a friend going through a difficult time, every small act of kindness I've extended to strangers, these moments have revealed parts of my character I didn't know existed. Compassion is like a muscle that grows stronger with use, and the stronger it gets, the more connected you feel to the human experience we're all sharing. Now I want you to pause and ask yourself 3 questions. When was the last time you did something that genuinely excited you? When did you last step outside your comfort zone, even in a small way? And when did you last help someone without expecting anything in return? These aren't trick questions, and there are no wrong answers. They're simply invitations to reflect on where you are and where you want to be. Because here's what I've learned. A quality life isn't something that happens to you. It's something you actively create through thousands of small, intentional choices. Mrs. Chen passed away last year, but before she did, she gave me another photograph for my collection. It was of the two of us on her porch the day after our first conversation, both of us laughing at something I can't even remember now. On the back she had written, "The day we both decided to start living." That photo sits on my desk as a daily reminder that it's never too late to choose aliveness over mere existence, adventure over safety, and connection over isolation. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you to claim it, one brave choice at a time.